Somebody had asked me to make a video on how to go about setting this file up for UV printing. This is one of Daryl's sassy stands, the beaver one. So we'll import it into Adobe. We select the beaver, and you notice it highlights everything in the beaver, so it's basically a compound path at this point. We need to release the compound path, so right click and release compound path. Now he's into the individual little pieces. We'll select his eyes, maybe this part here. I'll make those white. You won't see it right now, but it'll show up eventually. Take his teeth. He's kind of a bad beaver, so we'll make him a little yellow. The inside of his body and the inside of his tail. Let's make those brown. Let's see what that looks like. No, darker. Go with that one. So now we have the inside of him colored. We'll select the outside of him and come over to the fill and stroke. So we need to actually change the stroke to a fill. So we just right click on that reverse arrow, and suddenly we've got a beaver that looks like a beaver. Now I like to take this whole part and actually group it, because when we start moving around we don't want any pieces left behind. Take them and drag them over. There we go, right about there. Get rid of these because we don't need them. That's a separate process altogether. So from here, I will go over to the layers panel, and I'm going to create two different layers. So that both shows up. So there's my two layers. We'll take the first layer, right click on the outside path. We have to select both because there's two pieces to it. So we'll take those and we're going down to arrange. Oh, better select the layer. There we go. So arrange, and we're going to send to the current layer. That moves it to an entirely new layer, which is what we want. That's the part that's going to get actually lasered. Now we'll go up to layer 3, and I've got a little target here that's a green and black dot. I'll show it in just a second. And I'll put one right there. Over, grab another one. I'm going to put it right here. So now let's scroll in and I'll show you what these targets look like. As you can see, it's just a target. It's got a white center in it. It actually prints out a white dot in the center of that. This is to allow us to align it when we get to Lightburn and actually do a print and cut. So there's the first part of doing one of Daryl's files. And of course you can select more and add them to your sheet as well. I have a sheet right here of various pieces. This is on the printer right now. You'll see that there's a dot right here at the very bottom, and then there's a dot at the top over here. And once again, that's for the print and cut alignment. Once we put it into laser, we can select this dot here, move the laser over top of it, and then set that position. We can then jog down to the second dot over here and do the same thing. That'll give us our two locations that determines what's called the skew. And once we have the skew, it knows how to cut these out. So after you've done this, you notice that I've turned off the layer for the outline. It's just, there's no outline here at all. It's just the printable part, because we don't need the actual outlines to cut. When we turned on the cut layer, that's how they'll actually cut out on the laser. Turn that off again. Once we have a file like this, we can save it, load it into Photoshop. Let's see, go backwards. Alright, so we load the file up into Photoshop. So here's our dots. Now I have a set of actions that I perform. They actually, we have a white spot channel that's in behind, and it needs to be reduced by 1 pixel. What that does is it brings the white inside the color, and that way it won't show up outside of the color itself. It doesn't actually show up. The other thing that we do is we add the varnish channel, and that one has to be expanded by 1 pixel. So you can set up these actions in Photoshop that actually perform all the steps needed to actually perform the actions. There's multiple videos on doing that, so just find one and follow the steps. Add your spot channels. I actually have 3 different ones. I've got one for white, one for varnish, and then I have another one that does all 3 at once. So we're going to just play that, and you notice it turns all nice and red. That means that the spot channels have been added. Come over to the channel over here. You can see the CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, black, and the 2 spot channels. So you know that they've been added. You save this. So we'll go over to File, Save As, save it. It's saved as a TIFF file, and that's what PrintEXP requires, is a TIFF file basically. It'll print in other formats, but the TIFF file has the spot channels in it. It's probably one of the only formats that does. So once you have this all done, you just go over to your UV printer and actually print this out onto a sheet of whatever you're printing. Now, let's go back over to Photoshop. We're going to turn off that layer there, and we're going to turn this layer back on. So now we've got our alignment dots and all of the outlines that we need in order to print in Lightburn. So we'll take this and we're going to export it. It's better to export than it is to save. So we export it. Back here. And okay, first batch export. Okay, there we go. And we'll export it as a PDF. Now let's start up Lightburn. Okay, now File, Open. Let's go over to our sassy stands. There we go. Sassy, all supported. There we go. Have to have all supported, otherwise it's just looking for the Lightburn files. So So here's our first batch PDF. So we'll load that up. There. Now it's in the wrong orientation, so let's change that. There's that. These dots are now, you need to change them into a different type. So we do that, we change it into a tool layer. Same with this one, select it, change it into a tool layer. There, that's done. They won't like it if you have compound paths, so you have to okay. So now once this is done printing on the UV printer, and you have this set up into your Lightburn, we can go to Laser Tools, Print and Cut, Start Wizard. You'll notice it comes up with press to set the first target position. Okay, so over on the laser, you're going to be moving your laser around. You need to set it on that first dot, whichever one, it doesn't matter. So let's select that one. And I've moved my laser to that point on the laser. So the Lightburn knows exactly where it's at. And we can set. Nope, yeah, of course. So flat. Alright. Set it. Now, let's go over to this one. We'll just preempt that. Okay. So from there, you use your jog button. It moves it close to where you need it to be, and then you use your controls to actually bounce the laser around until you get that laser dot centered on that. It has to be centered. If it's not centered, things won't cut properly. So we press to set the target position once it's centered. How about if we'll do the jog? And now my laser's moving over there, so. Alright. There. So now we got two choices here: line output scaled. We're not scaling. Line outputs no scaling. That's what you want, no scaling. Now everything's aligned. That piece of wood is on there, and it's aligned to the this outline right here. Now we can just press cut, and it'll cut out each of these shapes, which should be inside the color. So this is a print and cut operation. I hope you enjoyed the video. Okay, so I screwed up the first time and I actually had it set the wrong way around. I had it reversed. But I redid everything. Now it's going round and round and we'll cut out all our shapes. Unfortunately, I'll lose 2. Might be a little loud in here, but here we are at the laser. I've moved it close to the point. I'm just going to fire it and see where we're at. Yeah, no. So I need to move down just a little. Let's come up to the menu. We're going to set our speed 1 millimeter per second. That allows us to make fine adjustments. Come back up. Now. Enter. There we go. Alright. Let's see. It's moving, but very slowly. So once it's on the dot, we'll fire the laser again just to see where it's at. There we go. Let's try it out. Over. There. That. Is, I think, centered. So from there, let's go back over to Lightburn. Excuse me. So now we're going to set that position. I'm going to zoom back out, find my second dot wherever it might be. Yeah, there it is. Alright, so let's jog back to the laser. As you can see, we're close. There, that's getting better. Okay, I'm going to call that close enough. Back over to Lightburn. Helps if your computer is closer to your laser, but I don't have it that way. Alright, so now we just set it, set no scaling, and click start. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure why it does this, because it knows that it's actually on the bed. It's saying that there's a shape that's off the laser bed. Let's see what happens. That's what happens. I'm going to do that.